Hey everyone, I'm Jaden.
And I'm Noah.
Did my voice crack there? Should I do that again?
Oh no, I thought it sounded normal.
All right, and we are the Super Gamer Bros, and this is the Super Gamer Bros podcast. We are just a couple of brothers who love playing games and love talking about games, so that is pretty much all we do. Don't do much else. Anyway, Noah, we're excited today because I'll be honest, actually completely surprised me. The Game Awards just happened. So
What do you mean it surprised you?
because I absolutely I had no idea when they were until the day of when one of my coworkers said, "Hey, you gonna watch the Game Awards tonight?" And I was just like, "That's tonight?" Yeah, it caught me off guard. I thought it was later in December than it was.
Oh, weird. So you never voted?
No, no, I did not.
Oh, I voted.
Oh, that's yeah, yeah. I
Anywho,
dropped the ball on that one. Yeah. Anyway,
so any long-term fan of games is going to know, but obviously anybody who just gets into games isn't going to know that every year there are a plethora of video game award shows from all kinds of different, companies and groups of people who talk about what their favorite games of the year are. But for the most part, the Game Awards, hosted by Jeff Keighley, are pretty much the most widely accepted as the video game award show, the official one that we all just agree to watch. Yeah, so that being the case, this being the biggest Game Awards kind of production of the year means that it also gets the biggest names in terms of announcements. And that's really, I think, what people get excited about. Like if there weren't, it really felt like to me that there's a lot more announcements than awards. And I feel like if there wasn't that, then people would not care so much.
I think you're absolutely correct. Um, I mean, that's what brought the Game Awards to our attention was, I specifically remember one day like going on like YouTube and we subscribe to the IGN YouTube channel and they always will post the trailers of the games after they appear on the award show, and they always say where the award show is from. Like it would say oh, God of War announcement trailer, E3 2015 or whatever. And I just remember one day like being like, "Oh man, look at all these new game announcements," and they were all from the Game Awards, and I was like, "What's that?" And that's when at least I can remember specifically kind of being introduced to what the Game Awards were, and I thought, "Oh, I didn't realize," because as you said, every company that talks about games does a Game Awards at the end of the year, like for their staff or whatever. And so for the longest time, there wasn't like a big kind of central one. And as you said, the Game Awards really has kind of taken that mantle, and it does get all those really big announcements that we love to see and talk about. And
That's
props
true.
for that.
That being said, I would like to point out the fact that right before Jaden and I were recording, we did highlight the fact to each other that the idea that there are so many game awards with so many different games as game of the year or best art direction or best RPG, whatever. Your favorite game may not have won this particular game awards category, right?
Yeah,
They don't matter. Jade and I were
yeah,
talking about that. They don't matter. Games are subjective. That's just a fact, right?
yeah.
I do feel that way about uh movies and TV as well. I think like you can only take criticism with a grain of salt because movies and everything, all art is subjective.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like games are even more so than all the others because they typically, they're more involved, obviously,
Right.
and they take a lot longer to accomplish. So, time affects your opinion. Like you can watch a bad movie, and it takes you, 90 minutes, 2 hours to get through that movie, and you're like, man, that was bad, but whatever. And then you move on. But you play like a bad game or a really good game, and I mean, other than indie games, like if you're looking at big AAA games, it's rare to find a game that you can complete in under 10 hours nowadays.
Very
Uh,
true.
yeah, that is again something that will affect your opinion because it's just so much longer.
Right.
I mean, it's just like I like the Game Awards because the same reason that I liked when we did the SGB Awards is it's just a celebration of games, and I love when we can all as gamers collectively get together and just be like, you know what, guys, games are awesome, and
That's
and
true. The
and
last
that's
couple
it.
years, I feel like I've done the Game Awards really well, which is I take it as like, hey, these games are all pretty good. You might like any of them. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I look at like these categories and I'll be like, oh yeah, I loved Elden Ring. I loved God of War. I loved Horizon. I loved Stray. And I'll be like, what is Scorn? I have not played that. It
Yeah,
must be a good game. And
yeah,
then I'll look it up and I'll find it out and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to check out this game. It must be good because it won awards. And
yeah,
more often than not, they end up being good games.
yeah,
All these games are usually great games.
yeah. I mean, that's the same with there was a when PlayStation 5, still relatively newer, it was last year. There was a game on PlayStation 5. It's a JRPG called Tales of Arise, and it won best RPG of the year at the Game Awards in 2021. And I remember I saw that, and I had always seen that. Like I always knew what Tales of Arise was, like seeing it at GameStop and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's some JRPG, whatever. And when I saw that it won Best RPG, I was like, oh man, that actually must be a pretty good game. Like I like JRPGs. If it won Game of the Year, man, I mean, our Best RPG of the Year, I'll probably give it a chance. Yeah, so I went and bought it. Haven't played it yet because that's what I do. It's buy games and don't play them, but I have it.
Well, that's great. Um,
Yeah. Um,
so anyway,
and also,
how we're gonna? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say. Also, I feel like the Game Awards has kind of taken over what E3 used to be, where it's just a big press conference where they announce a bunch of games.
E3
Yeah,
fell to
that's
the
awesome.
wayside, but I preferred it to this new like 3 months of E3 we have, where companies just randomly decide to drop trailers one day. I don't like this method of game announcements that we've had for the last few years.
I
I
mean,
prefer a big conference where everybody just announces everything at once.
I do, I agree with you that I personally prefer it. I do understand how, some game companies especially wouldn't want to do that because it's like, why? Like again, go back to
It's
like
like making
E3.
your game on somebody else's time.
Well, even like not even necessarily, because a lot of times when you would have game announcements at E3, the game wouldn't come out for years after that. Like Watch Dogs, I remember was shown like what 3, 4 years before it actually came out. And also I feel like it's the competition of like if you remember E3 2016 is the I'm pretty sure it was 2016 was the conference where God of War 2018 was
Yeah.
revealed. I don't remember any other game that was revealed at that time, and it really overshadowed a lot of other games announced. And I can understand as a game developer, especially if you're a smaller game developer, not wanting to compete with a God of War announcement or a Star Wars Jedi Survivor announcement, these really big games that are going to generate a lot of buzz instantly. So I can understand that from a developer's perspective or a publisher's perspective.
I
But
think
anyway,
that's an excellent point.
yeah.
But
uh
anyway,
let's just get into it.
yes. So anyway, how we're gonna do this is first of all, Jaden and I are gonna go through basically each of the categories in a completely random order. It really doesn't matter. But I did make sure to put Game of the Year towards the end because I knew Jaden would probably care about that.
You
And
are
then
absolutely correct.
and then after we go through all the awards, what we're gonna do is basically talk about each game. Just talk about the award, list the games, and then talk about the winner and talk about our opinion on the games in the list a little bit. If we played them, if we didn't, if we're checking them out, that kind of thing. And then obviously some of these categories will really have no input. Anyway, and then after we finish the awards, I just have a light list of the games that were announced or had cinematic or gameplay trailers or some games that just have DLC announced, stuff like that. I might have took those out. But yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about today, and without, you know, delaying any more, we're going to get into it with best art direction. Best art direction to me is the best looking world, I guess. Would you agree with that?
I feel like it's not just that.
because there's no world design.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that. I feel like it also is just in terms of I think how well that they are able to what's the word like get like successfully apply whatever art style they are trying to go for. Which for at least four of these games, they went for more realistic, looking kind of graphics wise, and I feel like that's fine. But I know, like, I'm pretty sure, previous games that have been up for this award and won it include, maybe 8-bit games or, games that have, weird art styles like Borderlands with its kind of like, it does like the cell shaded stuff, which is unique, kind of more unique thing. And I feel like it's just, it kind of goes for something that is successfully is able to portray that or whatever art style it is going for in a very, in whatever way it is.
So the games nominated are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. Personally, I would have given this to Horizon Forbidden West. Jaden, who won?
Oh, okay. The winner of best art direction was Elden Ring. Noah, I did not play Elden Ring. You did. Did you think the art direction of the game was good?
Yes, I did think it was. I thought that this award could have gone either way between Horizon and Elden Ring. For me, I wanted Horizon to win because it didn't win any other awards, and Elden Ring did. So I kind of feel like, it should be like everybody gets something like participation, you made it. And not really though, because like I said, these are all beautiful, equally fantastically made games.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Elden
mean,
Ring though, like it's like you said, Horizon Forbidden West is like realistically beautiful, and Elden Ring is like fantastically beautiful. It's like a fantasy.
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I have actually played most of these games, which is a big surprise for me with God of War and Horizon, which I have not finished, but I have started. And then Stray. Yeah, it's kind of like you said. I could imagine. I mean, I couldn't imagine Stray winning just because it is an indie game going up against three very very huge AAA games and Scorn. I don't know where Scorn falls. So
I
no,
would say Scorn falls below Stray.
got oh really even smaller. Interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
in
I
terms
feel
of
like
popularity.
I was gonna say in terms of popularity, absolutely. So again, like God of War, Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West, both I think easily could have won this award. Elden Ring, like I've only seen, clips from people playing it. I personally didn't think it looked as good as the other two, just again from the
It can't be
very,
done
very small.
justice from clips.
I mean, it's just whatever. It just looks to me a lot more drab than
Yeah,
the other
I
two. Like the
am
other two are
very
very
interested to
bright.
see what your opinion's like after you play it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
agree with you that Ragnarok is also a gorgeous game. Um,
absolutely.
oh, I'm excited about this award. Why don't you introduce?
Of course. So next we've got best score and music. For the best score and music. Here we've got nominated A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The winner, Noah.
God of War Ragnarok. That's right. Aaron McCreary picks up another Best Score Music Award.
I mean,
Um,
I think it is completely well deserved. The soundtrack to Ragnarok was absolutely incredible.
I have an unfortunate opinion here. I thought
Uh,
that the soundtrack from Ragnarok was less good than the soundtrack from God of War 2018. I have listened to it, especially the song everybody loves, and I just don't get it.
yeah,
I'm not
Blood
feeling
Upon the
it this
Snow.
time.
It's in my
Yeah,
playlist.
Blood Upon the Snow. I'm not feeling it this time around. I don't think. I just don't love the music in Ragnarok as much as I love the music in God of War 2018. Elden Ring does have very solid music. It's just not like it's like very good orchestral background music. It doesn't really stand out as like a soundtrack. But A Plague Tale Requiem also has fantastic music. Like I'm about 30 to 40% through that and I'm greatly enjoying it.
Yeah, I
I
can't
still would have
comment.
chosen God of War Ragnarok for this though.
Oh, I see. I see. I I absolutely love the soundtrack and music to God of War Ragnarok. I absolutely am glad that it won the award. Yeah, that's all I have to say on this one. Yeah, that's it.
All right, next up we have Best Audio Design. The nominees are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West.
And the winner, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, just amazing audio design.
Yeah, it is. It is really good. Um, it, yeah, I don't know. I feel like with best audio design, I personally am always a little more, I guess what's the word? Like leaning towards games actually like Modern Warfare 2 and Gran Turismo 7, like shooters,
Yep,
racers, because it's a lot more intricate, with the sounds of the cars, the sounds of your weapons all being different, and Call of Duty always does a great job of not
they
only
do.
having all the guns, they sound different, they sound good, but even where you're shooting will make it sound different.
If you hit
What you're
metal versus
shooting,
wood, yeah,
yeah, what you hit, if you have a
a
silencer on,
silencer, yeah.
um, and with racing games with the different car engines and all of
Yep.
that, all very intricate. So I'm honestly surprised that neither of them won the award just for that. But intricate, obviously, it doesn't necessarily equate to best, but it certainly is a lot more difficult to pull off. And I think both of them did pull it off very successfully. But then, of course, you have the big three back again.
The big three will heavy stay through
Yeah,
this
yeah.
award show. Get ready to
Oh,
see God of War, Elden Ring, and Horizon all day.
absolutely. I am a bit surprised. Yeah, I guess I am just a bit surprised that Ragnarok won this one because just thinking about the audio design, like yes, it's good, but in my mind, I just am equating complex to better because it is good, but it's also I feel like in comparison to the games like Horizon and Gran Turismo and Call of Duty, it's a lot more simple. But it is still the audio design in God of War is incredibly good.
To me, it was a weird choice also. I thought Horizon Forbidden West should have had this. Again, just the audio design is amazing. I think the music in Horizon, it wasn't even nominated for music. And the music in Horizon is fantastic. The voice acting is great. The sound design for every single weapon, for the zip line, for your, what's it called? Like a hang glider thing. I don't know. You probably don't have it yet, but I don't know
That
what it's
is
called.
correct.
And then of course the animals. All
The
the
machines.
machines are really cool and they all have unique sounds. And in this game, there's a lot of different versions of each different machine. So it's even more intricate. But I
Yeah.
completely agree with what you said about Modern Warfare 2 and Gran Turismo because I did learn a lot about what goes into designing cars in games when I was following Cyberpunk's production.
Yeah.
And that I didn't know it was that difficult, but it is crazy difficult. Anyway, we're gonna move
Uh.
on to
Oh.
best. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something?
Well, no, I thought this was my award to announce.
Was it?
Like you say the winner, but I say the categories.
Oh, did I
Did
say the
oh,
best
did
one? I thought I said
uh
spoilers.
hold on.
Hold on, wait.
One,
Me, you, me,
two,
you. Okay, you're right.
yeah, yeah. So best performance. We have Ashley Birch from Horizon Forbidden West.
Woo!
Charlotte McBurney from Plague Tale Requiem.
Woo!
Christopher Christopher Judge from God of War Ragnarok.
Woo!
Man Engage from Immortality. Sunny Soljic from God of War Ragnarok.
Woo!
And Noah, who was the winner of best performance?
I everybody and their mother could predict the winner of this performance. It was a competition, but it really wasn't close. I think the voice acting in this game is fantastic, but Christopher Judge, God of War Ragnarok, won the award. He also had the longest award speech. They tried to get him off the stage multiple times. There's a lot I want to talk about with this award. Obviously, it's well deserved. Christopher Judge is an amazing voice actor, and it is his voice that carries the revival of God of War. And I'm just so happy to see him getting all this recognition and respect. He deserves it. Actually, although these all these other voice actors, I mean Sonny Soljic, the same thing could be said for him as Atreus. It's just that Kratos has that long-standing relationship with players. Atreus is getting there though. Charlotte McBurney, I am gonna guess that she plays Amicia.
I would, yeah, yeah, she does.
Amicia is the exact same way. I feel the same way as far as I do about Kratos or Christopher Judge. I just think her voice carries the entire game.
I mean,
I
I think
love listening to her talk.
yeah, I think you're absolutely correct in regards to Charlotte McBurney. I have not played Requiem, but I did play it, Platinum
Innocence.
Innocence, and again, she is the most prominent character. She's in you're with her the whole time, and I did think her performance in that game was really really good. But she's really good. Very much
Yeah,
carries
I'm
as a
playing
main
through the
character
second
because
one. Oh, sorry.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna
You
say,
finish your thought.
especially for a main character, it's very important because I have played games where there might only be one voice even for most of the game, or you just the one character who kind of talks more than any other. And I have absolutely played games where I was not a fan of that voice, and it very much hampers the experience of the game. So it is very important, and it's kind of like you said. I mean, all of them: Ashley Birch, McBurney, Christopher Judge, Sonny Soljic, and I know absolutely nothing about Immortality,
No,
so
I
I
did download it.
apologize.
I want to play it.
Um, yeah, I cannot comment
Immortality
on
was
on
up for a lot of awards, and I've
yep,
heard a lot of really good things about
yep.
it.
So
So
I can't comment on
TBD
Man
on
Engage,
my comments about Man
but I
Engage.
mean, considering he was nominated, I'm going to assume he also was very good.
I think so.
They all do such a good job of carrying these games as they are very prominent characters in them. I mean,
Oh,
even
I
as like you
did.
said,
We have to say something about Ashley.
Ashley Birch, absolutely.
Yes, and her performance as Aloy. Like Horizon and God of War were two games that made me tear up this year.
Yeah,
And that only happens when the performance is good, because that is the only way to be immersed that deeply in a game. And I did want to say, Jaden, Man Engage is a female.
that's incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah, I just wanted to point it out for you.
That is incredibly
Uh,
embarrassing.
yeah, she only
I'm
does
sorry. I'm sorry,
immortality.
everybody. I know nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's
You
really
didn't know.
embarrassing. I
Uh,
didn't do my research for this one. I'm sorry. That's
um,
bad. I'm upset about that.
anyway, I did want to mention while we were talking about this award that Amazon has greenlit a God of War and Horizon TV. Or no, hold on. Sony is producing a God of War and Horizon show. God of War has been greenlit through Amazon. Corey Barlog is leading it with two guys from Amazon who produce pretty good Amazon shows. Anyway, Christopher Judge and Sonny Soljic have both expressed interest in wanting to be in the show.
Yeah.
I think it would be a crime to not cast them.
Well, I don't know because from what I heard, the games will start in the like from the show. Sorry, will start from the 2018 story. And I mean, Sonny Stolchik is too old to play Atreus as that younger boy.
Yeah,
I
they
feel
could
like.
just throw up the age of both of them for both stories.
I mean,
And I hope they don't just do a one-to-one retelling.
they couldn't.
I
I
like
feel
when
like
they
just
change
because.
things.
I mean, I don't
Like
admittedly.
DC's been doing that. I watched Black Adam yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I think it's my new favorite DC movie of all time. I
That's
I thought it was
crazy.
I know it has very mixed reviews. I thought
Yeah.
it was paced very well. It was very true to the character. They changed his story but made it better. They created a villain that was really cool. And they changed stuff about the team. They have the Justice Society and they have
Correct.
characters in that they changed stuff about. And I like the changes to those characters. I also thought the acting was good. Like I thought it was all very well done.
I see.
Yeah. Anywho,
Anyway, I mean, yeah, I mean, best performance. It's even like it's a shame that apologies for not knowing her name, but that Freya, as voice actress, was not nominated. It's a shame that Ryan Hurst, who voiced Thor, was not nominated. It's a shame that Richard Schiff, who voiced Odin, was not nominated. I feel like there are just so many
I
good
thought you didn't like
performances
Odin's
in that
voice.
game alone. I didn't like the direction they went with it, but it was performed very well.
Yeah, that's fair. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like that's more of a writing thing than a performance thing. You
It
know.
was. It was a
Um,
decision.
yeah, but again, it's like it's a decision I don't like. But just because I don't like the decision doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I don't
Yeah,
like it. Like it
right.
was performed very well, and what they went for, they were going for was accomplished very well. I can't say it was bad. It's just like, ah, man, I don't think I would have gone that way or whatever.
Is this my award?
Yes.
Yes. Alrighty. The next award is Games for Impact. I really like this category. It's really like games that have a deep message and are meaningful. So the games nominated were A Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Exocologist.
The winner being As Dusk Falls. This honestly, the best way I can describe this category, because I did not play any of these games, is I wish I had more free time so I could play these games.
See, I
Um,
add these games to my list and I look them up and I'm like, how can I get these games? Because I know that these are the good indie games.
yeah,
These
yeah,
are the ones we should be
hmm
playing on the indie bit.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just like there are games that are nominated for awards and stuff that, hey, that's cool. I don't play them and will not play them just because it's not necessarily games like Gran Turismo 7. I'm not really big into racing games. I'm not going to play it. Or games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like I'm not a big Nintendo guy, so I don't play most Nintendo exclusive games. But with games like this, I think typically helped by the fact that most of the times they are usually shorter. I want to play these games because those deeper messages and, as you said, like big games for impact. I think that they most of the time are games worth playing, and I would love to give them a shot if I had more free time.
Yeah, years past I have tracked some down that were nominated or won and played them and I really like them.
Yeah,
So, I just always do that. I think I use Game Awards as like, hey, these are great games to play if you haven't played them yet, for, the most part.
anyway, we'll go ahead and move on now to best ongoing game. Nominees being Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
This is a dumb category.
I don't think it is.
I think
Um,
they should just get rid of it.
I think it's cool to reward developers that continue supporting these games for years and years, and give them credit for when they do it well. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is I feel like one of those success stories in games of, or like redemption stories, one of the best redemption stories in gaming history. Where when it first came out, it sucked. Everyone hated it. It was probably one of the worst launches of a game in gaming history. And I don't remember if they actually straight up just shut it down for a while, but they, promised to work on it and get it better. And it is considered now one of the best ongoing MMORPGs out there. Like it's not one that I'll ever play because it is something you have to pay month to month to play. It's one of those subscription games, which I just will never do just because
I just don't like
uh, uh,
games as a
yeah,
service models.
I get you. But no, I think it's cool to at least just give a nod to the people who do work on these because they are still working on these games and
I didn't
putting their
catch if
time
you
into making these
said
games better.
this, but the winner was Final Fantasy 14.
I don't think we ever said because you were
No, but
supposed to
that
say it. No.
highlights your point that it's a huge redemption story. It came out. What year did that come out? Do you know?
I do not. I mean, it had to be
I'm about to
before
look it up.
15, right?
It's 14, right?
14.
2010. This game came out 12 years ago and won this award in 2022. That is a crazy story, for sure. That is a nice redemption arc. But at the same time, I don't think we should be giving awards to games that came out 12 years ago, even if they're still being played.
I mean, I can understand your point, I suppose. But I mean,
So,
it's just one award. They're like none of these
oh
games
yeah,
are up for any other awards, so I think it's
right,
fine.
right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. I just
Anyway,
think it's a weird like. There's other categories they could put in instead of like the esports and these type of categories.
yeah, I
But
get
I
what you're
get that there's
saying.
a huge fan base of people who only play Final Fantasy 14, who only play Apex, Destiny, Fortnite, Genshin for sure. I mean, so I get it. Um, and it is nice to give both those games, the companies, and those fans recognition.
But I mean, as you said, they're not necessarily games that we care too much about.
All right, personally.
Anyway,
Next up is another category that I am very fond of, which is Best Indie Game. This is Best Indie overall. So the nominated games this year are Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
and
I myself,
I
oh,
I was
sorry, go
just
ahead.
gonna announce the winner real quick. The winner being Stray.
Yes, yay!
This was probably the least surprising winner to me of any award. Just how
Cult of the
hype it
Lamb and
was, how much
Sifu
it was.
didn't stand up for you.
Well, I didn't like Sifu. I'll be honest. I did not care for it. Um, yes, I am bad at it, but that's I like I didn't think it was bad. I'm just like, yeah, this just isn't for me. I'm just not gonna like. I understand if I put time in, I'll get better at it, but I just don't even necessarily feel like doing that. And Cult of the Lamb, like I guess I'm just thinking in terms of popularity because I feel like it was popular when it first came out, but nothing I feel like can compete with how popular Stray was. Um, and
That's true.
I played Stray and I loved Stray. It was absolutely an incredible game. And I wanted it to win. I absolutely wanted it to win because of just how much I loved it, and I feel like Blue 12, the developers, absolutely deserve the recognition for making it.
I agree with you. Stray is by far the biggest game on this list. However, I have been playing Cult of the Lamb, and it is a fantastic game. I'm
I mean,
excited for you to play it.
I absolutely want to play it. Like, it certainly seems very, very interesting, very cool.
It's
Uh,
cute.
but I
It's
don't know.
kind of like a mix between like an Animal Crossing type village running thing and Hades type combat.
Interesting.
So I think you're
Anyway,
really gonna love it.
anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on.
All right.
Uh,
Next up. Oh, sorry. Is it you?
best mobile game. You have Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. No, what was the winner?
The winner was Marvel Snap. I've actually played Marvel Snap, and it's a great game.
I have to assume. I'll be honest. I hate Marvel Snap. I have not played it, but there is this one guy I work with that will not shut up about it. I have. This is a category I can't say anything on. I do not play games on my phone. I've absolutely. I'm not one of those guys who is like, oh, those aren't real games or anything like that, because that's dumb. It's just I just don't play games on my phone typically.
I am one of those guys. I think they have the potential to be real games. Like I've played plenty of mobile games that were fantastic. The only way I ever played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was on my phone. It was the whole game, $15, great purchase. And that's the potential for mobile games, but usually they end up being, like that Harry Potter mobile game that came out where you're taking classes and you have to wait 2 hours for potions class or pay for energy. Those just
Yeah.
money grabbing. It's not even a game. Like at least console and PC games will put some kind of game in while they're asking for your money.
Well, I think you have to think about who your audience is here when you're making a mobile game. It's someone on their phone who more often than not is probably doing it while sitting in a waiting room or maybe on a flight or riding shotgun in a car for on average probably at most 20 minutes of playtime. So you can't really make a game like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic for phones or in terms of like a brand new game, new IP and stuff for a phone because that's just not the audience that is playing games on phones. And yeah, that's what I feel like that's what you're competing with.
Right, but it could be.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
not. Like most of the people like that's why Candy Crush is to this day still one of the biggest phone games ever because you can load it up, you know, I honestly if it, do your mix and match candies, do like 4 levels in 10 minutes and then move on with your life. And, that's, I feel like 80% of people who are playing games on their phones.
right. Is this category any different from the other category?
Um, I don't know.
Like literally the list is the same.
No Man's Sky is different.
All right, I guess we can talk about it. All right, next up we have Best Community Support. The nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
And the winner being, once again, Final Fantasy 14. I feel like this is different from best ongoing because I feel like this, at least I've always assumed this is actually referring to the community themselves and how they like in terms of maybe like the players, ongoing players, like how many or the actual overall like
Fan base.
attitude of the community and fan
Hmm.
base. Yeah, because there are some games, some movie shows, TV movies, TV shows that the fan bases are what some might call toxic and are very unwelcoming to new people, gatekeepers and stuff. So I imagine that this is, referring to actual good communities to be a part of. Again, I cannot comment. I don't play any of these games, but assuming that is what the award about, I like it because I think, I mean, I hate toxic fan bases. There are several like online like shows, groups, whatever that I either am or was a fan of that I never would call myself a member of the community and never would interact with the community because I know that it is incredibly toxic and I don't want any part of it. So I think it's cool to see that, hey, not every community out there, not every fan base, fandom, whatever, is awful. There are some good ones, and I think assuming that that is what this award is about, I guess it's kind of embarrassing if not. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I also feel like I can't really comment on this. I don't play any of these games. But I will always take an opportunity to voice my absolute hate for No Man's Sky. Continue.
Wow. Okay. So next we've got innovation in accessibility. The nominees: As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part One, and The Quarry. Noah, the winner?
The winner is God of War Ragnarok. I did want to say that I do love this category. I've learned a lot about people who want to play games and are less able, and I think that's a huge issue. I think everybody should be able to play games. That's the whole point, like to escape. I think games like Elden Ring, they're great, but they don't have difficulty options. They don't have accessibility, and not everybody can play those games. So they're very limiting to who can enjoy them. And that's always like a really sad thing for me. I want more games to be like God of War Ragnarok and have accessibility options out the wazoo, you know?
Absolutely. No, I mean, I completely, a million percent agree with you. It's also something that was not on my radar for a long time. I just didn't think about it. But seeing, as you said, kind of learning more about this issue and seeing that it's very, very cool how many different games have so many different options for accessibility now. Even, when you first start, I'm pretty sure it was God of War, it asks you all these questions about, all these different things and ways to make the game easier for you. Or that might have been another game I played, but I feel like it was God of War. I just thought it's just awesome that they do that. As you said, like everyone should be able to play games, and it's something that is great to see celebrated. And as you said, even just it's something that I always look at. What now actually whenever I start a new big game like that is I'll go in the options and see like, oh man, what can I do here? Like what are all your things? And I think seeing all those different options and thinking like, oh man, I didn't think about that. That's cool. That they include is just very cool. I mean, even as far back as the old like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops, where they had the simple thing of colorblind options for the map, because in the map, your allies are green, your enemies are red, but
It
in
looks the
terms of
same to somebody who's colorblind.
yeah, someone who's colorblind, like red and green are I think, the two most common colors that color blindness affects. So then they had the colorblind option where your allies were blue and your enemies were orange. It's like you can see something like that. I remember was the first thing of like, oh yeah, man, I guess if you were colorblind, that'd be kind of
It'd be
annoying playing
debilitating.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is really cool. I love seeing the accessibility. I'm glad there's an award for it. God of War Ragnarok certainly had a bunch of options. I remember, when I played it, looking through the options, I was like, "Oh, this one's gonna win." Like before the Game Awards were announced and everything, I was like, "Oh, this This is
I knew it was
this
gonna
has got it
win
out the
when they
wazoo.
came out with a trailer for their accessibility
Yeah,
options.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
all right, here we go.
yeah,
But that's the right decision. Like Sony Santa Monica proven that they are on top of every ball out here.
yeah, yeah. They think of everything. Anyway,
Next up, we have the best VR AR. Who in God's name calls it AR?
AR is different.
What what's different?
All right, let me explain this to you. Virtual VR, virtual reality.
Well, I
Uh,
know the difference in the words, but like,
you
what's the
put on a
difference in
headset. You put on a headset. You're in a world. AR, augmented reality. You hold up a camera. They are in your world. So the best. I mean, I feel like it's the simplest way to explain.
like
So in
the
virtual
games
reality,
take like Pokemon Go?
yes, that's augmented
Okay.
reality. Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
like the Pokemon are in your living room, the Pokemon
yes,
are on your
yep,
yard. I get you.
yes, yes.
Okay.
That is AR. VR is you put on a headset. You're in the Pokemon world.
All right, I didn't know that. Very, very interesting. Are any of these AR games?
I don't know.
Okay, so the nominees are After the Fall, Among Us, VR, Bone Lab, Moss Book 2, and Red Matter 2.
And the winner is Moss Book 2. I
That's
mean, I
pretty
like this
cool.
category. I like how it certainly is not. At least I feel like in terms of general popularity, it's not as big as it was, when like the VR was first coming out. But I am glad that there is still continuing support for VR games. I, to me, it's just still too expensive. It's still too expensive to get into. For me personally, that I don't have a VR. Um, and it's honestly kind of annoying when I see games kind of coming out that are VR only. For example, Moss and Moss Book 2, which won, but Moss, was when it was first announced, it's like, oh, dude, it's a PlayStation exclusive. Oh man, your plan is this little mouse guy, and it's like a storybook adventure, dude. That's awesome. I love that. Can't wait to play it. Oh, VR. Okay, never mind. And when Moss Book 2 was announced, I just had that same thought of, oh, it's gonna be VR. Okay, I guess I won't play that one then. Which it sucks because it's not even like a first person VR game like other VR games are. It's like you're looking at the site. It's like a side
Yeah,
scroller,
the
but
fact
you
that it's
have to have
VR
a VR
has
set.
almost little to nothing to do with the game.
Yeah.
You know, it adds
So
not very much.
yeah, so that's kind of annoying. But again, that's something that kind of exclusively, not exclusively, but it affects Moss. But obviously, most of these other games, I assume at least, are more first person. It actually
I
is.
think a
It
cool one
does
is
matter.
Among Us.
Yeah, I just don't have a VR. I have. It's just to me, it's still too expensive to be widely popular or generally used that I don't have one, so I cannot comment on this award.
All right. I love the VR. My VR is broken. I've had it since 2018, so
Oh, I didn't
she
know it
ain't
was
working no
broken.
more. It's not broken to death. It just has this issue because it's wired,
Yeah.
and the wires are like loosely connected to the headset at this point.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is sometimes you see the game and sometimes you see the Matrix.
Oh,
You know
interesting.
what I mean?
That sounds awesome.
It's like green lines but it's while I'm playing and fighting Darth Vader, it's not that great.
Yeah, I get you.
Um so yeah, I'm waiting. I'm buying the PSVR 2 at launch. I will pay an exorbitant amount of money for it, but I'm a huge fan of VR. I think it's innovation. I think it's the next step. Anyway, more on that next year, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Jaden.
Next we've got Best Action Game nominees: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
So the winner was Bayonetta 3. I have never played any of the Bayonettas, but I do understand that they are huge games and they have a huge following. So that makes sense that this is probably the biggest game on this list.
Yeah.
Personally, with my bias, I would have picked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Million
Fantastic
percent.
beat 'em
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Million
great
percent.
game.
Um, I mean, Bayonetta is one of those game series that like it's probably top five games series I have never played, but boy, do I really want to, because it just looks so fun. Yeah, I am not surprised that it won. Again, my bias, I would have picked Shredder's Revenge, but I honestly thought you would have rooted for Sifu with this one.
Sifu's a good game, but it was like I feel like it was old compared to all these other games.
That's fair. Anyway, That's all I have to say about this one. Not much. Let's move on to best
All right.
action adventure.
It goes
Oh,
from
sorry, you
best
read this one.
action to best action adventure.
I mean, you put them in
That's
this
funny.
order.
No, but I mean, like, just
Oh,
take out
I get what you're
action. It
saying.
should be best action, best adventure. You know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, the nominees are A Plague Tale, Requiem, God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon, Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. Wait, this is the category that Elden Ring didn't. It's
Well, it got
an
best role playing.
adventure game. It's
It
a
got best role playing.
over
It was
100.
in
All
best role
right, yeah,
playing. It
anyway.
was in best role playing. Winner, God of War Ragnarok. There's not really much else we can say about God of War Ragnarok at this point. Great game. Should have won. Honestly, the only thing I have to say about this category, because Plague Tale, God of War, Horizon, Stray, we've talked about a lot already. What the hell is Tunic? I, I,
Tunic.
I mean, we should be playing this one because it was up for best indie and best action
Yes,
adventure. I
it
feel
has
like
been
that's a
up
game
for
we
a
need to
lot.
play.
It is on my list. I have not researched exactly what it is because these kind of games, I don't like to look up anything about it. I like to just play it and be
Yep,
completely surprised.
absolutely. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess look out for Tunic in an upcoming indie bit or something because
yeah,
apparently it's a
for
game we should
sure.
play.
But
Apparently
that's
it's a
what I
game we should
mean.
play.
You got to pay attention
Yeah,
to those games that are popping up in all these awards because
that
they
is
got to
correct.
be great games. Um, Anywho, next up we have best RPG.
Best role playing game. Got
Oh, sorry.
this is, I think this is mine. Elden Ring. Noah, how do you say this game?
Live a live.
Live a Live.
I think.
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Woo!
Triangle Strategy and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
The winner of this category was obviously Elden Ring.
Yep.
Um, it is an amazing RPG. There's so many deep options into what your character can do and can be. Um, it's just really cool, and you'll understand when you start playing the game.
hmm
That being said, I love Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, it is my favorite Pokemon game of all time.
I'm shocked.
It's just fantastically done. Anywho, I mean, did you have any comments about those?
No, I didn't
They're
play
all
any of these.
kind of out there.
Elden Ring won. Not surprised in the slightest. Next.
Next up, we have Best Fighting. Woo! The nominees are DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, The King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu.
And the winner was Multiverses.
All right.
Did you play Multiverses?
Yep,
I feel like that was a game that it was like getting kind of a lot of hype before it came out, and then it came out and just disappeared.
it did.
Um,
They did not keep good support with it very fast.
the only fighting games I play, Mortal Kombat and Injustice. So I can't. This is another category that I unfortunately cannot comment on. But I think it is cool that Multiverses won. I did think the concept was interesting. Um, and I mean, it's like I was kind of ashamed, not ashamed, like a little sad, I guess, when it did just kind of disappear because I just took that to mean it wasn't great. So it is cool to see that it actually, it succeeded a bit, and I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game. I was surprised that it won over JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and The King of Fighters. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a remake of an old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game, and it has a following. And then The King of Fighters is like a revival of the King of Fighters series. So I was shocked to see that Multiverses beat them.
But yeah. Anyway, good for them. Next, best family game: Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids: Spark of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
And the winner is Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
I was really pulling for Star Wars on this one. I've been playing Lego Star Wars more lately, as I was talking to you about, and it's really fun. I've really been enjoying it. Kirby is Kirby, so I'm not surprised because Kirby games always do
I
well.
was
Always
pulling
good
for
family games.
Switch Sports. I actually really love Nintendo Switch Sports. Me and Paige uh, play it a pretty good amount, and we'll play like we played volleyball and tennis, where the two of us are on a team against the computers in the hardest difficulty,
Uh huh.
and it's very fun.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, Next up, we have Best Sim Strategy. Dune Spice Wars, Mario, Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Total War, Warhammer 3, Two Point Campus, and Victoria 3.
And the winner being Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I say
You
just
don't
next on
really
this
have
one.
much
I
to say,
apologize. I have
right?
nothing. I have
I do
nothing.
have something to say. I actually am playing through a Mario Rabbids game right now. It's the one before Sparks of Hope, but
Uh,
it is a surprisingly fun game. It's like one of those where it's like the battlefield is a board and you're moving characters and you
yeah,
shoot.
I can't remember what that is, what that type of game is called, but I do like those
Oh,
games.
it's called a sim strategy. Um,
That's fair. That's fair.
so you go ahead and do the next category.
Best sports racing. You have F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K 23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World. Noah, who
And
won?
the winner is Gran Turismo 7. I am
Um,
surprised by this. I thought FIFA would win.
yeah, FIFA is typically is considered the best sports game of the year. Yeah, racing, it's cool, I guess. I'm sorry, I've not much to say on this one either,
Yeah, we
Noah.
don't really play a lot of sports racing games over here.
Correct.
Um,
Um,
oh, best multiplayer, and the nominees are COD: Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Shredder's Revenge.
and the winner was Splatoon 3. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there aren't a lot of games. I again for this one I would have pulled Shredder's Revenge. Because I don't play competitive multiplayer. But I love some co-op multiplayer. Yeah, if I'm playing with the right people.
Absolutely.
Um,
I was just
and I
shocked to see Modern Warfare 2 not win
that it is the biggest. It's
because
just
it's
by
quite
far the
popular.
biggest game. But biggest does not necessarily mean best. So it's whatever. Next, best debut indie game. You have Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors.
Well, no matter how good Tunic might be, it still can't beat the popularity of Stray.
Yeah, Stray won again. Yeah,
Stray
again, we've
was
talked
by
about
far the
Stray.
best indie game to come out this year.
It was a very, very good game. And yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, it makes me like just the category just makes me interested. Like, what is Neon White? What is Tunic? What is Norco? Like, hey, maybe
I've
I'll play
looked up
those, but
Neon White. It's very cool. Vampire Survivors I would not play, but Neon White
interesting.
does look cool.
Yeah. So, maybe
Anyway,
just I like that I like the indie categories because they just give us ideas for indie bits we could do in the future.
right. It's been
Um,
kind of a meme recently that 2022, 2021 have been like the years of video game to film or movie, TV adaptations.
yeah.
And the Game Awards kind of poked fun at that this year by having a category that was Best Adaptation.
So, Noah, why don't you read our nominees?
All right, the nominees are Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
The winner being Arcane League of Legends. I don't watch things, so I have not watched any of these. Well, actually, that's not true. I've watched a bit of the Cuphead show. I don't like it. I
It's
do
not
not
good.
like the Cuphead show. I don't like it. It sucks because I love the game so much, but I do not like that show.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
not the same.
from from what I've heard, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is good, really good. Both the movies are fine, and Arcane I've heard is absolutely phenomenal.
You've
Um,
seen Uncharted?
I no,
Okay.
I've heard it's
What
fine.
about Sonic?
I've heard it's fine. Uh, Arcane does not surprise me because just when it came out, I just kept hearing people talk about it, and I watched the IGN interview, and like the IGN guy gave it a 10 out of 10. Like apparently it is super super good. Like I don't know anything about League of Legends, so I don't have much to say in terms of watching it. I know it is, I think, primarily focuses on the character of Jinx, who is one of the most popular characters in the game. At least that's always what I've assumed because I feel like I see Jinx a lot, her name come up a lot. But yeah, that's all I could say about it. It's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about any of these. I've only seen the first Sonic. Next.
Next, most anticipated game, you have Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Noah?
And the winner is Legend of Zelda. Not surprising. But I
No.
personally wanted Or, I'm
Hogwarts.
most anticipated about Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, yeah. Same here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know, nothing else to say. So now we get to the big daddies. What I think probably the biggest three awards in the game. We'll do them all. We'll start with Game of the Year. I think it's your
Woo!
turn to announce these, Noah.
Game of the Year nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And the winner being Elden Ring. I personally would have gone God of War Ragnarok, but it did not surprise me that Elden Ring won. Again, I guess it's the one thing I don't like about the same games being nominated 20 times is there's nothing we can talk. We've talked about all of these games so much that I have nothing else I can add. Just I wish it would have been Ragnarok, but congrats to the team that made Elden Ring.
I made this argument to my friends who wanted Ragnarok to win, and I told them I thought Elden Ring would win. I put somewhere between 40 and 50 hours to complete God of War Ragnarok. I have put almost 200 hours into Elden Ring.
Yeah, but that's like length. Length doesn't necessarily mean it's better.
It definitely, if a game can sustain my love for it for over 200 hours, it's a good game.
I
You'll understand when you
understand that.
get it.
No, I
You'll
understand. I'm
understand.
not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying just because it's longer doesn't mean it's better.
And you're talking a
Anyway,
lot. You're making yourself look really stupid out here talking about Elden Ring when you don't know about it.
I'm not saying anything
I'm
about it.
just
I'm just
kidding.
saying I'll kill
Best
you.
game direction.
Go ahead, read them.
The nominees are Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
And the winner, once again, Elden Ring. My only comment on this category, I guess we should play Immortality because
Yes,
that's
I
actually
already
the only
downloaded
game
it.
on this list I have not played.
Free on Game
So
Pass.
yeah, we'll get into that.
But I was gonna say real quick, Elden Ring. I thought that this was a good choice because God of War and Horizon Forbidden West did not change game direction at all between the last games. But Elden Ring, coming from Sekiro, was a huge change.
I can understand that. I understand that argument.
Like the game direction
Yep,
was
yep.
a big shift.
I could see that giving them
And
an
it was
edge.
still very successful.
Yes. Anyway, last category we will discuss. Best narrative. You have A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
And the winner is Ragnarok. Of course, out of all these games, Ragnarok has the best story.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Man, we should really play Immortality. Again, that's my only comment on this category.
We're working on it.
Working on it. We'll get it, guys. We
So
promise.
that's the Game Awards.
All right, end this here.
I just wanted to say that's pretty much what we expected from the Game Awards. I'm not surprised by any of the awards at all, and I was pretty happy with the turnout. Yeah, overall a pretty successful year. So next up, we're going to talk about the announcements and trailers.
Woo! Right after these commercial messages.
Right.
All right, and that is the Game Awards, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to move on to the announcements and trailers. I'll admit, Noah, I don't think there was as much that I'm as excited about as last year, but there are still some really cool games that we can
I
talk
still
about.
think this is a pretty good year of announcements at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I was depressed not to see was something from NetherRealm.
I know, but Ed Boon, he knows what he's doing. I trust Ed Boon.
He's got our back.
I feel like Ed Boon is the probably like the biggest in terms of game creators. I feel like he's probably the only one that we would probably get starstruck over.
That's true.
But then I also feel like he's the most like down to earth game creator as
like
well.
Most normal dude.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be very chill to talk to compared to like any others that I know of. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't be able to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd freeze up.
Right.
Anyway,
so first of all, we have the first two announcements I have listed here were the two that surprised me the most. I did not see these coming at all. And the first one was a cinematic reveal trailer for Death Stranding 2, which takes place decades after Death Stranding 1.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not watch it. because as you know, Noah, and I've mentioned several times in the podcast itself, if I am sold on a game and I'm like, I'll buy it, I don't watch anything past the point of me making that decision because I don't want any spoilers or anything to spoil. But yeah, I want to go into the game completely blank slate. I heard Death Stranding 2, and that's as far as I needed to go. Like you, I'm very surprised. One, because on Twitter and just seeing news, the news had been that Kojima was working on a horror game for his next game. So that's something I
A
expected.
lot of people thought it was Silent Hill.
Well, Konami owns Silent Hill, and
Well,
so I
it
didn't
was
think it was
Silent
going to be
Hill
so.
esque.
Yes, that is what I thought as well. It was going to be Silent Hill, but for legal reasons called something else, is what I was expecting. So yeah, I was surprised to see Death Stranding 2. I platinumed Death Stranding 1. I absolutely loved Death Stranding 1. So I absolutely will play this game. Will enjoy it, I'm sure.
I was
Uh,
shocked just because
but
of the split popularity of the first one. I just really did not expect it to be getting a sequel.
I didn't think it would get a sequel because I felt like the ending of the first game very much had kind of this, in terms of, at least in terms of Sam's story, had a very like sense of finality to it that I just
I
thought like
agree.
I don't even know what a sequel to this game would look like.
I
And then
completely agree.
as well, you said the split popularity of it. I feel like Hideo Kojima does not give a shit about that, so I don't think
That's
that's
fair.
necessarily a factor. Um, and uh, but I did not expect it to be their next game, especially because again, I thought he was working on a horror game. So unless this one really switches tones and is a horror game, I'm pretty shocked about it as well. But I will play it.
That wouldn't be a huge switch. Um, Another shocking game comes from Supergiant.
Yes, Hades 2 had a gameplay slash announcement trailer. I'm very surprised about this one. Now they've only released 3 games so far. Supergiant has with which were Bastion, Transistor, and Hades. I'm pretty sure those are the only 3. Um,
Yep,
didn't seem like sequels were their thing. I never would have expected them to make a sequel to any game they've done.
that's the first
Hades,
thing I said when it was shown. I was like, this looks like Supergiant, but they don't usually make sequels, so I'm confused.
yeah.
Also, it's been causing controversy that you play as Zagreus' sister.
Why is that?
I've seen people complaining about it.
I guess I don't know necessarily why they are complaining. I do think it's a little too samey because,
Yeah.
admittedly, when I first saw it, I thought like when I first saw the trailer, like I watched the whole trailer because when I first saw like the character art of Zagreus' sister, I literally thought, is this just Hades, but Zagreus is a chick now? Because she looks very similar. Like the eye thing is the exact same, like very similar. Which I mean, they're siblings, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, no,
But
the game seems to be like Hades, but you're playing as a female now.
yeah, just shocking to me. I just not expecting that. Also, like, when did Hades come out? 2018?
Somewhere around there.
Was it 2020? Right? Wasn't it up against like didn't it wasn't it up for
I
Game of the Year
can't remember what
against
it was
Last
up
of Us Part
against.
2, I feel like. Um I also felt like very soon for a Supergiant game, which I guess
Mhm.
it being a sequel it makes sense because it's probably going to
They didn't
gameplay
have to
wise be
create
very
new.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I mean their combat overall is similar typically anyway, but this one I'm sure is more similar than going from, Transistor to Hades. Um
right.
Yeah, but I was surprised. I did not expect the game to be them to make a sequel of a game
Exactly.
ever.
Next up,
Um,
the release date for Final Fantasy 16 was announced. Personally, I'm not really interested, but I do like keeping up with the Final Fantasy series because it has that huge fan base, the huge
um,
following, and I do
I
like to see them keep it going.
I am surprised because you played through Final Fantasy 15 and seemed to enjoy that game quite a bit, and you played the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Um,
Yeah, I did,
I,
but
I
you
thought
know that
I
they're
thought
all
you were a
different.
well, yeah, but I thought I thought you were a Final Fantasy man now.
No. But
I,
if it's
I
good, I'll wait till it comes out and it's cheap and find out if it's good or not, and then I'll play it.
I get what you're saying. I to this day still have not played a Final Fantasy game. I want to, but they're all longer. It's hard.
It is. Final Fantasy VII is a
Um,
good one.
it's like, sure, I'm interested because it's Final Fantasy. Will I play it? Probably not anytime soon. Anyway, moving on, Noah. This is one I'll let you talk about. This is one that you seem very interested in.
I'm not interested in it, but it is an interesting game to talk about. That is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. If you're not aware, Armored Core is an old game series that From Software made before they ever made Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Sekiro and Elden Ring and Bloodborne, right? All the games that made them hugely famous. Well, Armored Core is a mech fighting game. Not a fighting game, but it's some kind of mech combat game. And it has a fan base of people from back in the day who are very excited about this sequel. And I think that it could alienate the people who played Elden Ring and push From Software back into the shadows a little bit. That's my fear about it. Something else that could happen is they completely revitalize the Armored Core franchise and it gets everybody who likes Elden Ring onto that. It could be a good game. I don't know. So I will keep my eyes open on it and make a decision after it comes out. But as of right now, I personally don't like mech games, so I would steer clear of this one.
Will admit, I feel like I don't get necessarily what you say by alienate Elden Ring
Um,
fans because I
the
mean,
people who
there's
play Elden Ring like that type of game. It's the same as Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls. Not really similar to Sekiro, but the same skeleton of a game there, where you're playing as a lone fighter going through these.
well, see, I feel like the alienation. I feel like in terms of games, it would be if they made something similar but different, like kind of Sekiro compared to the rest of the From Software games. It's very different, and I'm sure there were people who played Elden Ring or Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Dark Souls that did not play Sekiro because it was almost the same but slightly different, and I don't like how it's different. I feel like it's probably the attitude towards that.
Yeah, there's definitely a group of people like that.
But this one is so different that I feel
It
like
is.
it's like it's you can't even compare them. Like
Yeah, I
I
am
I feel like
interested to
that.
see what the reception is for it.
Yeah, so am I. Will I play it? I don't know. I don't think I've ever really played any sort of
Strongly,
mech game like
probably
this, anything
not.
like that. But I do think it is a very weird direction for them to take, considering how successful their games are. I do think. I mean, I think there are going to be a lot of people who like, the Demon Souls, the Bloodborns, the Elden Rings, that are not going to play this game because it's not what they want. And I mean, there's no problem with that. I feel like because again, it's just so different.
Yeah, I'm
Like
just shocked to see like I wanted to hear because we knew they were working on something and they were probably going to announce it. And I was excited because they're coming off of like this is the peak of From Software's, rise to glory. They've done it. They've really cemented themselves as one of the not just one of the best game companies of all time, but one of the most popular. Before they were niche. It was just those Dark Souls, Demon Souls fan that liked them.
yeah.
Now a lot more
Um,
people like them. And I was like, what are they going to do now that they have all this attention? I just thought it was very odd that they decided to go back all the way back to Armored Core.
I mean, 100%. I think it's incredibly bizarre, and like honestly, like I hope it doesn't, but I feel like this is going to end up hurting the company more than anything else. It is not going to nearly sell as well as an Elden Ring or like an Elden Ring sequel or a Dark Souls
Yeah,
sequel or something like
exactly.
that.
All right.
And
So,
while I'm just sorry, I just to say, while I hope it doesn't, I do fear that this could potentially end up just really negatively affecting them. Anyway, moving on, we have Street Fighter 6 release date announced. Street Fighter, one of the most popular fighting game series in history.
the game wasn't announced,
Personally,
the release date was announced.
did I say release date? I didn't say release date, did I? Either way, I mean, I don't play it. I think it's cool for all the Street Fighter fans out there. I'll absolutely watch some professionals play this game in the future, but playing it myself, I do not think so.
Yeah, I'll talk about this real quick. The big three fighting games, we all know what they are if you're a fan of fighting games or you're a part of the fighting game community. They are the games Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat. Okay. I guess you could kind of say NetherRealm because they also have Injustice, and sometimes that's their big game, and it kind of takes that position. But it's nowhere near as popular as Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat outsells all these other fighting games and Injustice by a truckload. That being said, Street Fighter 6 and the other one, which we're going to talk about later, both got release dates. They're both coming out this year, so it was kind of shocking to see that NetherRealm was very quiet at this time of year. But I was going to say Street Fighter and the other one that we'll talk about both have a lot of changes and updates that are making the fans very excited. Like you, I only play Mortal Kombat, so I'm just excited for the fan base. It's not
Yeah,
really going to affect me.
yeah. I mean, I think it's always cool to see long running series like this keep going strong, and for the people who like those games, like I'm happy for them. I'm happy the Street Fighter fans and the other game fans we'll talk about later get these new updates, and I hope they like them. I think, like, surprisingly, with how kind of fighting games, how competitive they are, very, in my experience, very good communities, very like open, fun communities, very supportive communities, and it'll be really cool to see them continue with these next games.
And it's like you said, watching the professional gameplay of these games is always fun.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the next game?
The next game I'm going to go ahead and pass off to Noah is Judas from Ken Levine.
So yeah,
Well,
Judas
no,
from Ken Levine. Oh,
actually, I did say Street Fighter, but either way, also I know nothing about this one. This is
oh yeah, okay. So
something you're
this
talking
is
about.
coming from Ken Levine, who is one of the people who worked on BioShock. He is credited with creating Rapture, so he's no stranger. Judas is a game that looks really artistic, that kind of like semi-horror action game where you have a gun in one hand, some kind of power in the other. It is very BioShock-esque. Could basically be called BioShock. It might as well. The world of the game looks very cool. I don't even really know like how to describe it. It's very it's a lot more colorful than any of the Bioshocks were, so I think that'll be exciting. But this is just a game to keep an eye on. We've heard rumors of a game company making a game like Bioshock for what feels like 5 years now, so it's nice to finally see that come to fruition.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about the next one? I feel like that's my
Yeah,
vein.
if you know anything about it, I don't know what it is.
Sure. Crash Team Rumble was announced with an announcement trailer. I actually watched the announcement trailer.
Also,
Funny
Crash
enough,
showed up.
this game brought to my attention by Haley, diehard gamer Haley Noah. She sent me this trailer and I watched it, and it is basically a Crash multiplayer game. Looks like it's 2 teams of 4. From what I could tell of the gameplay, you're basically like competing, collecting Wumpa fruit, and bringing it back to like a home base, whatever, to collect it. And it's two
Are
teams
you
of 4.
fighting each other?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
competitive. 2 teams of 4 fight each other. Like, I think, like, you pick up Wumpa fruit if someone from the other team hits you, you drop it, and then pick it up and you take it back to like your cache and you drop it there to collect those points. I don't like multiplayer games. It's made by Toys for Bob, who I don't know if they own. No, I don't think they own the rights to Crash, but they at least they made Crash 4. They also, again, don't know if they own the rights, but they made the Spyro Reignited trilogy. And it was known for a bit that they've been working on their next game. Like, they had been like teasing it, and a lot of people thought it was going to be either a continuation of the Spyro series, kind of like how they made Crash 4, which takes place after the original Crash 3, skipping all those other games that happened. Those aren't canon anymore. And a lot of people were expecting that they would kind of do a similar thing with Spyro. They would make a new Spyro 4 that takes place after 3 in the Reignited trilogy. And they made the Reignited trilogy, did a great job. They made Crash 4 and did a great job. Some people thought, maybe they're making the next Crash game. So as someone who is a fan of both Crash and Spyro, honestly, very, very disappointed by this announcement. I don't like multiplayer games. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more before I die. Hugely disappointing for me. I'm not going to play this. I wish that they were doing something, a single player Spyro or Crash game is what I wanted, and I'm upset about this one.
yeah, that is depressing. However, for me, like I could see this coming to PS Pass very quickly and playing it for free with friends.
Yeah. Also, nothing to do with Toys for Bob, but previous iterations of multiplayer Crash games have not gone well. But again, I mean, none of them were like this and were not made by this studio. So I'm sure the game will be fine. At worst, it'll be just fine. It's just not what I wanted, and I don't care about it.
All right, here's a good one. We had a cinematic trailer slash announcement of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and it also had a release date announcement, which I think is March 17th, if I'm not mistaken. I was not surprised by this because just before the Game Awards, there was a leak on Steam that said Star Wars Jedi Survivor was gonna go for sale on March 17th, and I was shocked because it had not been announced, and that is very quickly. I love when games announce and release within 6 months, you know, because then I don't spend 4 years waiting for God of War to play it for 2 weeks and then be bummed that I'm waiting for the next God of War already. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just wait, announce it later. The trailer looks really cool, and I'm very excited to play it. One thing they did show was you can have two lightsabers in this game. That was something I was bummed about in the last game, and I'm glad that they addressed that.
Much like Death Stranding 2. Did not watch the trailer. I saw Star Wars and I was sold. Noah, answer me this question. Did they mention kind of how much of a time gap there is? Because all I've seen
Five
really is a
years.
screenshot, and yeah, Cal looks a lot
Yeah, it's a
older.
5 year time gap. The trailer also did not show the whereabouts of any character from his crew. The only character
Interesting.
from his crew was him.
I have to imagine that they will return, at least a bit. You know, maybe they'll die, but they'll still return. No, you were always the big Star Wars fan. I was always, I would say, fine at best. I have been so into Star Wars lately. Yeah, I've been reading through the Darth Bane trilogy. Been very interested in getting other, specifically Old Republic. I think I prefer the Old Republic era. Looking into more of those to read and whatever. And I mean, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars game ever released. Huge asterisk to that. I have not played Knights of the Old Republic for anyone who is currently screaming at me that that game is better. I have not played it, so I can't say that it's better. And the Star Wars games I've played, it is the best. I love it so much. I am so excited for this one. And the fact that it's so soon, I cannot wait.
Yeah, this was a great announcement. Up next,
Up next, where is it? Diablo 4 release date. It was announced with a cinematic trailer. A lot of hype for this one in the Diablo community. I'm kind of torn because I've never played Diablo. I want to. I have Diablo 3. I own it on PS4, and Diablo 2. I forget what it's called, like Diablo 2 Resurrected or something. You know, the remake of Diablo 2, which Diablo 2 considered one of like the just best games of all time. I feel like I would want to play that. I hate Activision Blizzard as a company. It's shitty. It sucks. So I don't really want to support them. The game itself, I mean, it's Diablo. A lot of people are excited about it, but again, I don't have experience with the series, and yeah, that's all I can say about it, really.
yeah, everybody and their mother loves Diablo. Like, I've spoken to many non-gamers who are like, yeah, I don't really play games, but I love Diablo. And I'm like, that's so weird to me. I've never played them though. So I have no idea. And it's like you said, I also hate Activision Blizzard and those toxic companies because they're just destroying the game companies that work for them and,
Yeah,
ruining the games that we play.
yeah.
So I have a huge problem with that. I Diablo 4 is just nothing to me. If it's ever free or cheap, I might play it, but I'm not really excited. I am, however, excited for Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. It received another cinematic trailer featuring Batman. This, of course, was in honor of Kevin Conroy, and it was announced that Kevin Conroy, this is the final performance he ever did before passing, which is insane. It's really cool. because a lot of people were wondering, is Batman going to be in this game? So they kind of ruined that surprise and came out and announced it in honor of Kevin. And to me, that was really cool. One thing they also announced a release date, and the game is releasing in May, which is much earlier than I thought it was. I thought it would release late in the second half of 2023. So the fact that this game is coming out so soon and we have yet to see quality gameplay of it scares me.
I mean, I would, first like to say, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Very, very upset to learn of his passing. Just really upsetting to me. It is awesome that this is him performing Batman again. I'm glad that they were able to get, he was able to get all of this recorded and stuff. So they were able to have this as his last performance. I would not say I'm nervous about lack of gameplay as of now, because Rocksteady, I feel like, is a very trustworthy developer. I think, after playing, 3 of their games, all being very well done, they're a game developer that I trust. I trust that the gameplay will be great, despite the fact that we have not seen it yet, and it is releasing so soon.
I don't know. We've been burned before. What's up next?
Up next is Bayonetta Origins, Syriza and the Lost Demon. So this is a trailer. Again, neither of us, as we mentioned earlier, have played Bayonetta. But Bayonetta 3 won some awards, and it is a very popular series, so did feel like it was worth mentioning. Yeah, that's coming out.
Yep, that's one of those games we're not really interested in, but excited for that fan base again. Next up, we have Hellboy: Web of Weird had a trailer, and this game is very weird. It's this weird cartoony comic book style Hellboy game, and it wasn't very clear about what type of game it was. I'm not very excited about it, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it.
Yeah, it's something. I think that describes how I feel about it best. Is I like Hellboy as a character. Love the movies. So it has my attention. It is something that I will keep an eye on. But as you said, not enough about it is known for me to say I'm excited about it. Next game, Transformers Reactivate, was announced. Noah, you think it's only multiplayer?
Yeah, I think it's like a multiplayer versus game. I put this in here because I still love Transformers as a franchise, even though I haven't kept up with all the stuff they've released over the past
Um,
decade.
yeah. I mean, I like the games. I don't know what the general consensus is, but there was the Transformer like Cybertron series. We played some of those, and those were fun. The Transformer movie games, specifically Transformers the game and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, I think were two good ones. Both very fun when you could, like freely transform, and between vehicle and robot, and you had your weapons. You go
Yeah,
around
they
these
had
kind of
good
open
combat.
levels. They were fun. I love those games. Like, I wish we had more games. Like, I don't know in terms of general consensus how they were received, but I love those games. I love that gameplay style. I wish that they would make another game like that. If this is multiplayer only, as Noah thinks it is, obviously I won't play it. But I'm as you said, just Transformers as a franchise, we love, and I'll always keep an eye out for any sort of Transformers games coming out.
Right. In the last 10 years, I feel like they only make two kinds of Transformers games. They either make cartoony Transformers games for kids that aren't deep enough to be good, or they make multiplayer Transformers games that are, just not what I'm looking for. I would
Absolutely.
like that single player AAA Transformers experience
Yep. I
where
think it
it's
would
like
be
a
yeah.
story, open world, it could be done very well.
Yep. The movie games, I think, did that very well, in my humble opinion.
No,
And
absolutely. But they're
yeah,
from like what, 2008?
about anyway, Transformers. Noah, I guess I'll talk about this one because you don't know anything about it. Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden got a cinematic announcement trailer. So I saw this trailer actually just as like an ad to a video I was watching on YouTube, where all I could see of it, really, all I could tell is you play as this. I don't know. I feel like it was maybe an article I saw about it or something. It specifies that they are lovers for some reason, but you play as this duo, this man and woman, who in like 1685 Salem era America hunt ghosts.
I'm
And
already sold. That's cool.
yeah, I saw that and was like, that's pretty cool. I'm in. I'm into it. I like it. Yeah, I thought that premise was cool. I thought the yeah, obviously cinematic trailers are not necessarily indicative of how the actual gameplay
No,
will look, but it looked very nice. Yeah, I thought that's cool. I dig that. That's cool. Yeah, we'll look into that.
definitely keep an eye out.
Yep, keep an eye out.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Next up, we have Tekken 8. Tekken 8, you could basically put the exact same thing I put for Street Fighter 6 here.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
just the
game that
next in the
we.
series.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the game we kind of refused to name earlier when we probably should have just named it anyway.
Yeah, I should just put them next to each other. But anyway,
Yep.
Tekken 8, it's just got, it looks like it has a lot of new stuff. People are excited, so I'm excited for those fan bases. Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, good for them. Next, we have the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC trailer. I imagine this will work very similarly to the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, which was, I believe it was called the Frozen North.
Yep.
I played that DLC. It was fun. I really enjoyed that DLC. I assume that Burning Shores will kind of be a very similar vein to that, so I'm sure it'll be good. But yeah, that's it. DLC.
Yeah, I never played Horizons DLC, but I probably wouldn't play this one either.
Mm.
Um,
Anyway, next we'll kind of lump these two together. The Last of Us Part 1 and Returnal are both getting PC ports. Never played Returnal, probably should. We have it. I think it's a PS Pass game. I don't care about we don't play PC. I think it's fine, more people playing these games, more people buying these games, more money to the developers. I enjoy that aspect of it. I think The Last of Us Part 1, I still hate that the game exists at any capacity. And frankly, I hope that the PC port of that game does not succeed.
that's messed up. I just hate wasting a world premiere tag and an announcement for a PC port or a Switch version of a game. Just
I
post that.
100% will agree. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, you could post it. That is not something that warrants nor deserves a Game Awards or any sort of press conference slot. I agree with that.
Absolutely not. Okay, what's up next?
Up next, Baldur's Gate 3 got a release window. Noah, was this a PC only thing?
I didn't catch that actually.
Because I thought Baldur's Gate 3 already came out, but I think that might have just been like a beta or something.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that. Okay.
well, because it's out originally on PC, which Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, originally on PC, were years and years later released enhanced editions on consoles. I do own that. I have not played it, but love Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on PS2. I love that game, and so if this is coming to console, I am excited about it. I will get it. I will play it. I'm really excited about Baldur's Gate 3. I don't, but if this is PC only, because Noah didn't do his proper research, we'll never know. If it is PC
That's
only, then
messed up.
obviously, I know you best up. Obviously, I'm not gonna play it, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I just don't have PC. But if it is console release, I am excited for that. Yes. Noah, why don't you talk about this last one?
All right, lastly, we have Dune Awakening, which had an in-game trailer and is going to be an MMO. I am just excited about games in the Dune franchise. I have read the Dune series. I've not watched the movie. I think there is a potential for a game there. It's a very cool world that the author created. But like the movie, it's just very hard to adapt. I don't know how that's gonna go.
MMO, I'm out. Sorry guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I might see it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's PC only.
yeah, sorry, Baldur's Gate 3, I will not, unfortunately. I mean, if they ever port it to consoles, I am there, but
Right.
that's
So anyway,
whatever.
that's the Game
So
Awards.
that is the Game Awards announcements. A decent amount of stuff to be excited about, some stuff to keep an eye on. That's kind of how we feel about it. So now we are going to move on to the indie bit, the bit where we talk about indie games.
Yay.
For the first time in Super Gamer Bros history, Noah has usurped the indie bit from himself. Initially, our next indie bit, we were going to talk about Firewatch, but we forgot about the Game Awards, and even more specifically, a demo came out that both of us thought, oh, we should play this and talk about it. And what better episode to talk about a demo than the Game Awards episode? So instead, we have changed it. So now we're going to talk about the Forspoken demo that was released recently on the PlayStation 5 and maybe other consoles.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and describe it?
Okay, so Forspoken is a game that is coming out later in 2023. It is about a girl named Frey
I think so.
who gets transported to another world, fantasy world. She has this magic bracelet, and she has to save the world. Not going to talk too much about the story because it's obviously incomplete. We haven't really experienced it. So we're really just going to talk about our thoughts playing this demo. Noah, I took notes while playing. When you hold on, I'll get there.
Spit it out.
Noah, what what did you think about this demo?
You didn't describe anything.
Well, I just said you're right. So let's just real quick kind of talk
just
about
like
how
describe the gameplay,
the
I guess.
talk about the basics of the gameplay, which is it's kind of like an open world. You travel around. You have this kind of it's called like magic parkour or whatever that lets you get around faster. It is free roam. You have your combat, which is you have magic. You have different I forget what is it called? Different like
I'd call them spells.
different spells, but like different types of magic that you use as well.
Elements.
Some I guess some focus on like range spell attacks. There's some you have access to that are more melee spells. They were separated by color. One was red, one was purple. And you go around the world exploring, talking to people, helping wherever you can. Typical open world RPG kind of gameplay. Noah, what did you think of this demo? Because I'll be honest, I was actually kind of upsetting. I saw a fair number of people online saying after playing this demo they are not interested in this game at all, having a lot of issues with it.
Really?
That's what I saw.
I saw the opposite. And that's
Um,
weird considering at the beginning of the demo they say this is like a very early build of the game and don't expect anything to be the same.
I mean, I think the overall gameplay will still be the same, but that's not the point. I just what did you think of
I
this
think
game?
I liked it. I loved it. Like it's exactly what I want out of this game. The movement is very fluid. The only complaint I would have is I had some slight control issues aiming things, but that would probably be fixed with sensitivity, messing with like sensitivity functions and stuff in the options. I like how the story is produced. I like the combat. The enemies are fun. Fighting is fun. Moving around is fun. I think the game looks beautiful. I think the voice acting is good. The music is good. Really, like I was already sold on this game. I really didn't feel like I needed to play it, but playing it just made me much, much more excited to play the actual game.
Yeah.
And I feel like
You
I
go ahead.
at some point I didn't want to finish. I wanted to stop playing the demo because I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna wait. I want the game.
I did the exact same thing. I only played it for maybe about an hour to get enough experience with a bunch of different things. I have notes I took while playing this that I wanted to discuss kind of these things in detail. Not in detail, but yeah, briefly. I love how different kind of buffs to your magic is done with different painting her nails, different designs on her nails. I thought that was awesome. And each hand does have its own separate thing. I like that. Thought that was cool. One thing I did not like, you have to if you it takes like resources to paint her nails different to different shades or whatever you would call it, designs. You have to pay every time you change, even if it's to a design you've already previously had. I did not like that.
Ooh, that's bad.
There are one collectible that I picked up while playing this that, as I love, it was a collectible that just adds more lore to the world. As we've talked about collectibles many times, those are my favorite kinds of collectibles. Just taught you more about the world. I like that. as I kind of said with the nail painting thing, magic is associated with each hand. So you have your right hand and your left hand magic, which were different spells. From what I can tell, it seems like you could, you as you go, you unlock more like different types of magic. I don't know if you can only have like two main types equipped at a time because of each hand, but that is kind of how it appeared to me, which again, I think that's a unique thing, having each hand just kind of separately.
Yeah, that is really cool.
The game, my God, you can scroll through the different menus. Oh man, There is a lot to the game. The magic was very in depth. Resources in crafting was a thing, and there were a lot of resources in crafting. Certainly seems like it might be quite in
Grindy.
depth, which yeah, potentially scary, but also potentially cool. You could, in combat, at any point, just hold a shoulder button to switch what spell you were currently using, or even what hand of magic you were currently using, on the fly at it very quickly. I really enjoy that. I'm glad it's not tedious to do. It's always nice to have that kind of quick change options in combat. As you said, Noah, the game looks awesome. Very, very beautiful game, and I really like the music. The music for the game I thought was really cool as well. One thing as I was exploring through the menus, the way the spell skills work is something that I have not seen done before. Every individual skill in the skill tree can be unlearned. And you use I forget what it's called, like mana, I think, is what you use to unlock skills. And not all, but most skills you can unlearn, and you get mana back for that you can then apply to new skills. Um, I really, really like that. I think that's a very cool mechanic because, again, you had two different skill trees, both of them many, many skills. I don't know if that means that this is a game where you can't learn every skill at once, which I don't like, but the fact that you can potentially like, oh man, I got this skill, but I never use it, or oh, I don't like how this skill works, that for the most part, you can't actually just unlearn it and then apply that to a new skill that you might use more. I really like that. I really like that aspect. Noah?
Yeah, I completely agree. It just reminds me of God of War, like you said when we were talking about that game, that there were a lot of skills that you never even saw, and it was the same for me.
Yeah, I really, really like the concept of you can unlearn a skill and then get your mana back and then apply that to a new skill that you might actually use. I really like that aspect of it. I don't like that it potentially hints to the fact that you might not be able to get every skill in one, but I think that's a great way. That's probably the best alternative way you can do it, is being able to at any point just unlearn a single skill. And I assume all the skills pass it in the tree as well, but whatever. And then apply a different skill to kind of make up for that. I think that's a great way to do it if you can't learn every skill.
Yeah, but that sounds like it only works as long as it's not like you have to have this skill before getting this skill.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Um,
I mean, you do, but I think for the most part of what I saw, a lot of the like you have to unlock this skill to get this skill was more just building on top of that initial skill you had than completely unrelated skills that are still put in a tree like that.
right.
And then one last small thing I have to say about it, main character Frey, she's sassy. I love it.
She is very sassy. I forgot to mention that. She cusses a lot.
Dude, I shocked absolutely. Like, I don't know why, but games I have played lately, not a lot of cursing. And it's like in the first combat encounter, the bracelet that can talk says something to her, and she's like, I'm trying, or something like that. And I was like, oh dear. Sassy. I love that.
Yeah, and I can already tell that I like her voice acting too.
Yes, I agree with that. I liked her voice as well.
Yeah.
What's it called? The bracelet is British dude. I don't know
Yep.
how I feel about that, but I do like her voice.
Yeah, I think all in all, my conclusion about this demo is that this game is going to be a fantastic game. I think you got to watch out for it. I think we'll see it at the Game Awards. I don't think it'll win. It's got a lot of competition, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think this is going to be a slam dunk.
I'm really excited for it. I cannot wait to play it. Anyway, so that's the indie bit. Noah, what's the next indie bit? We already know what it is. You shut up. It's Firewatch. We'll actually talk about it on our
Have
next
you beat it
episode.
yet?
Noah, I haven't even started it yet.
Oh my God.
Well, it's yeah, I knew I had extra time because we weren't going to talk about it this episode.
Takes like 6 hours.
Yeah, I know it's short, so I'm not in a rush. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next time. All you Firewatch fans that were listening through this entire episode with bated breath, waiting for us to talk about it, don't worry, we will talk about it in our next episode.
They're out there,
Yeah.
but I'm one
Anyway,
of them.
yeah. So remember, new episodes come out every other Monday. Rate and subscribe. Tell us if you like our show. Tell us if you don't, and tell us why. Tell your friends and enemies about the podcast. And you can follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, for updates on everything we do. Hopefully, as long as I don't forget to post about them. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Super Gamer Bros, one word, capital S, capital G, capital B, period at the end, where we play games. Our most two recent episodes, we play through, just came out this past Friday, part 10 of our Mortal Kombat X Let's Play, as we make our way through that story, and part 10 of our Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Let's Play, where we finish playing through episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, sorry. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next game.
Bye.